Welcome and benvenuti to the best conference here at Villa La Collina in Griante, Digital Ecosystems, Blockchain Evolution and Sustainable Transformation. I welcome you from heart, from wherever you came, from Europe, United States, North America, South America, Asia, and our dear friends from Australia. We are here at a magic place, Villa La Collina, where the first Chancellor of Germany used to have his summer residence. And it was Konrad Adenauer. And it was truly a place for trust building. After the Second World War, the reconstruction of Europe and the definition of basic law. So post-World War II was built on trust, legal trust and trust between the people, and especially the young people, the youth. Yeah? And the common responsibility was defined. United Nations, the UN Charter. And in 1989, we all witnessed the fall of the Berlin Wall and the development of global political, trade, civilian, and the digital ecosystem momentum, a unique time in history. And trust, responsibility, and collaboration, that always goes hand in hand. And truly as well in our future digital age. Here you see Konrad Adenauer, our longest serving Chancellor of Germany, Helmut Kohl, the father of the German reunification, together with George Bush Senior, with Michael Gorbachev, and with our dear friends in France and the UK. And Angela Merkel, our last Chancellor before the current one, you also know very well, she also served for many, many years in Germany and internationally. The UN Charter, the preamble, the United Nations, that's what they, if they do it, really want to achieve peace, dignity, and equality on a healthy planet, not on a sick planet, on a healthy planet. And that has to be based on trust and international cooperation, like after the Second World War, the same now. So the aim at our DEBEST conference is to lay the foundation for an agenda. We call it the DEBEST Cadenabbia agenda, with the focus on trust in the digital age. And we like to contribute with the digital age to solutions we read and we hear about every day, to the solutions we face for our common future. And here, for example, the digital age and the artificial intelligence, for example. But we are humans. And we humans, of course, like to have a living, a strong position in our living space Earth. It's not a digital asset what we want to live in. Some people say we are in a race against the machine. I truly believe, and I hope most of us, that perhaps we are in cooperation or in a race with the machine, but not against the machine. And here I had the chance to be in Davos at the World Economic Forum 2020, just before the pandemic. And there was a very positive momentum there. And IBM, as an example, had a big stake there on quantum computing. So within our life, I'm sure we will witness the strong momentum for quantum computing that will come. It's perhaps 10 years ahead or 20 years ahead. And the saying is, let's solve the unsolvable with intelligence, with these kinds of machine, to live on a healthy planet in the future, to preserve our environment. Now this is from Konrad Adenauer. I just had the privilege here at this wonderful magic place to get yesterday from the director the lovely basket of the first Chancellor of Germany after the Second World War. He loved boccia, and that's a painting from a gentleman here from the city, from the village of Griante. And what we really want to achieve is to position the balls, to lay down the basis for a framework, the Cadenabbia agenda for the future of the digital age, to address really the needs, the possibilities we can contribute for sustainable transformation. Now, our conference series, The Best, has a long tradition. It started 2007 at the Great Barrier Reef, at the biggest visible ecosystem, you could say, we can see, we humans. Distributed systems, digital ecosystems, and smart technologies. And the inventor and the strong motor behind this, the power behind this conference series is Professor Elizabeth Chang. She is with us, the general co-chair, and from this nucleus, the conference went all around the globe. So here, to Thailand, Phitsanulok, to Istanbul, from there to Dubai, to Korea, to Daejeon, South Korea, and then a place not far away from here to Campione d'Italia, opposite Lugano, and finally to Menlo Park, just next to Sand Hill Road in the Silicon Valley, together with Berkeley University. And the honorary chair at that conference was Professor Lotfi Sadi. He was the founder back in '67 of the first computer science program in the world and the father of fuzzy logic. And we also interviewed Lotfi. He gave the honorary keynote. That's Lotfi Sadi, God bless him. And so in 2013, it was a significantly more positive global situation than we are now witnessing, unfortunately, right in 2023. And Professor Lotfi Sadi, when we asked him for digital and fuzzy logic and sustainability, he said, fuzzy logic departs from this black and white reasoning. 0, 1. This is good, this is bad. It dismisses it. And the second, if you only follow our short-term pleasures, the situation won't be good in the long run. Like Wall Street, we need a good, strong financial system. But if you run behind quarterly results, you may not have the perspective to look further. So the time dimension, short or long, seems to be pretty critical. This perspective, time, plays as well. Now, sustainability, as many of you know, our common future, Gro Brundtland, the former president of Norway, she defined it like this in this report to the UN. Sustainability, sustainable development meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So that's the respect for our children and grandchildren, that the way we live today is not taking away all the possibilities for future generations. That's our responsibility. So the focus of the best, and that's what we can talk about, it's digital and trust for sustainable transformation. Now in Davos in 2020, where I could join, not the summit, but around the summit, and it was a completely different, say, atmosphere. So in 2020, the momentum was here, the theme, stakeholders for a cohesive and sustainable world. And they defined a new manifesto. After 50 years, the new Davos manifesto. And so the focus was to position the balls, to readjust the balls for the future of our global economy. And that coincided with the 50th anniversary of the Club of Rome. Tomorrow we have the honor to have Professor Anthony von Weizsäcker with us here, the former co-president of the Club of Rome, the honorary president of the Club of Rome, and that's his book, Come On, to the 50th anniversary of the Club of Rome, Limits of Quantitative Growth. Not qualitative growth. That could be, you could say, almost endless for humanity, but quantitative growth. And his book here with many authors said, come on, let's start. What stops us as humanity, as the world society, not to address the challenges? And come on also means don't fool us. We know a lot. Now action with digital is possible. So a joint effort for our common future. And Ulrich von Weizsäcker, basically, he, together with Australian scientists, he overlooks sustainability from a scientific, from a technological, from an economic, from a political, and from a philosophic point of view, with many responsibilities over the last decades. One way to think about this is factor 5. It could be factor 8, it could be factor 100. How to move the world economy with technology on a trajectory path that's X times, 5 times, 8 times, 100 times more resource efficient in a full world. So we had at Furtwang University, the last couple of years, we always had an afternoon about the future together with him, different themes, followed with design thinking based workshops afterwards. Science, humanity, and the new enlightenment. You know the enlightenment, and basically what he is proposing is a new enlightenment, because we know so much and we live in a full world. The world is different because of the smartphone. People, the visibility is there. So people, equally which corner of the world, they can look to our content later and so on. Now, this has to go hand in hand. We have an unprecedented potential, I truly believe in, if adopted wisely for humanity. And not just for short-term pleasures, and not just for quantitative growth, qualitative growth. So Ulrich von Weizsäcker, he said we need a new enlightenment for our full world. And so in January 2020, Davos, there was such a positive spirit for the world community built on trust. And like science, for example, here you have got Emmanuel Carpentier and Jennifer Doudna. She's from Berkeley and she works for Max Planck in Berlin with CRISPR-Cas9, gene editing as an example. So digital, the simulation, in all different fields, materials, the quantum computing, progress, if adopted wisely. Trust in the digital age. So the world has changed since 2020, just 3 years ago. The theme, and I had a chance to participate as well around the summit in Davos, this year was collaboration in a fragmented world. Very unfortunate, a fragmented world. At the same time, you know, like OpenAI, and the voices even for a memorandum for artificial intelligence, like 6 months to figure out things. A lot for us to think about. If you see the big players, like what Google does, what Elon Musk does, what other people do, and how they really define their promises. Trust is often not really mentioned, and responsibility, that word, it's hardly seen. Trust in science, certainly. Trust in humans versus trust in machines. Machines, question mark, responsibility. So we like to deliver here contributions, lay the foundations with the DEBEST Cadenabbia agenda for our common future. And the progress is with the machine and qualitative growth. And not just quantitative. Trust in science. NASA. So, I mean, for example, the Global Change Master Directory. I worked a bit with them in Antarctica, so the Australian Antarctic Division, together with students on metadata. It was only one little salami slice in what they offer concerning metadata, data, and then they point on the data sources, yeah? So the digital ecosystem from science to action, it's possible. If there's a will, it's possible. Trust in the future of energy. Yes, and peace. Here we have such a unique capacity. For example, Martin Ender from Australia, he was the chair in December 2020 of the World Renewable Energy Conference. And one of the key people to lay out a concept in Karduck, where they are together with BP, Right now, in the establishing of a green hydrogen plant with 26 gigawatt of power in Karata. So I Googled first what means a nuclear power station, how many gigawatt, between 1.2 and 1.5. So we talk about 15 to 18 nuclear power stations replaced, or instead, green hydrogen. It's ready to go. It's the age to move, as they say in Freiburg at the Fraunhofer Institute for Solar Energy and Hydrogen. And that plant, very easy, democratic country, very democratic country. Under the new Prime Minister of Australia, aims for becoming the new energy superpower, one energy superpower of the world, green energy superpower. Because there you produce gas in Karata, you have got the pipelines, you have got the harbor infrastructure. Now we have the space and technology for solar, photovoltaics, and only the production, I don't talk about the storage and distribution, the production, it has gone down to 1 cent per kilowatt hour energy production with photovoltaics. That's what we are talking about. So, and I know from the Hydrogen Day in Freiburg recently, from the Fraunhofer, that everything is ready to go. It has to be the investments, the political will, all the other, and the digital magic on top. Trust in the collective power for change. So here we also, for example, welcome, only mention a few now for you, Christian Wagner from the City University of Hong Kong, a world champion on collective intelligence. Yeah, so collectively, the collective power from knowledge to action. Sinan Toomer, who was heading the innovation for SAP, so the living labs and the co-innovation at the East Coast of SAP and representing SAP in Brussels. Yeah. Christian Hübner from the Konrad Adenauer Foundation, who had responsibility for many years in Hong Kong, and now from Berlin, the responsibility on AI and the data science as the link as well in Berlin to the political arena. Mention others of you later. Gregor Falk, an expert, he is in geography, the dean of Freiburg Education University, but a true digital native, geographic information systems. He is a world expert on Humboldt and will deliver the Humboldt keynote. We don't have to invent the wheel over and over again. So we can tap into these attitudes of these scientific disciplines and how they lived, these people, on what we can learn today in the handshake between digital and us. Like here, we meet in presence, and meeting in presence is very, very important to be together. My true belief is we couldn't do that digital via Zoom links, but afterwards, of course, we use digital to amplify, to work in between, and so on. The best Cadenabbia agenda for trust. To summarize, trust as a key element for long-term quality growth. Without trust, that's my statement, no sustainable transformation. We have here at the conference a wealth of knowledge, presentations, debates about key aspects of digital ecosystems and trust that we capture, and that's the basis then for what we continue in our organizations and other organizations in the future. So we will have a lot of also short video statements about our views based on our competences in this topic. An example question, there are many questions. What is your view about the potential of our digital age for key challenges we face globally? What is your view about trust in our digital age to make this happen? How can we move from knowledge, from capabilities, finally to action? And the driving force for science and innovation, Albert Einstein, I like this to have this citation, to raise new questions, new possibilities, to regard old problems from a new angle requires creative imagination and marks real advance in science. So we can also be a bit naughty, yeah, and of course we enjoy this collaboration. And then let's think out of the box, of course. And the moderation for our DEBEST Cadenabbia agenda. We are in the very privileged situation that Irma Lind, professor for computer science at the Technical University of Cologne, is here with us, and Wolfgang Greter. He can look back on the decades of the applied innovation at the Fraunhofer Institute in St. Augustin near Bonn in the area of collaborative systems, blockchain technology, and design thinking for the whole of Fraunhofer. So 20,000 employees at Fraunhofer, and they laid this out, the design thinking that comes originally from SAP. And Irma Lind, in her position as previously Director of Global Innovation and Director Innovation Excellence at Deutsche Post DHL, very experienced how to in the moderation of such a process. Design thinking approach to really bring passion in the initial stage, and then from passion really into concepts. And we like to have then during the 4 days also then the live feedback. So you will feed in the interviews like in the evening that we can directly get feedback on this. So I wish us all the best. All the best for new seats here from our conference to our common future, based upon our on-site wealth of expertise in the digital age and life expertise. Yeah, I mean, most of us have a couple of decades behind. I'm also very pleased that we have a good mix also with young people and very young people from high school, and from around the world, different perspectives. And at this place, at this magic place where trust has always been the basis, at Lago di Como, Villa La Collina, and at Curtin University in Australia and Perth. When you enter Curtin University in Perth, there is a saying, always look forward. And this saying was made after this or during the Second World War by John Curtin, so it's Curtin University, the Prime Minister of Australia from 41 and 45. We have all reason to look forward and to look at the wealth of possibilities in front of us and with our capabilities. Grazie mille, benvenuti, to collaborate. Thank you that we are here all together.